Senator of Nairobi, the Deputy Whip of the minority, still Honorable Kalonzo, and many of you know me as the SG of ODM. Now, I had a choice. I had a choice to attend that jamboree in Homa Bay, or to join you here in Diani to discuss protecting constitutional rule of law and to demand accountability from those in power. I want to say here that I am a proud member of the Law Society of Kenya. As you've been told, my first time being elected was as a member of the Council of the Law Society of Kenya. Those of you who want to join politics, you will always hear people throw snide remarks and saying, this one cannot even be elected as a chair of a cattle league. So, your first time is very important to demonstrate to people that you can actually be elected to anything. And that is the reason why I am always happy to join you. And as Honorable Kalonzo has said again, you need to maintain some nexus between yourself and your profession, because you never know. The way some of the young people are talking in 2027, all of us might find ourselves back home, and we will have to find something else to do. I want to commend the leadership of the Law Society of Kenya, led by Madam Faith. You have stood in the gap for the people of Kenya. You have stood in the gap for those of us who may have failed the people of Kenya by abdicating some of the roles that were expected for us to execute. So, for standing for the rule of law, the Constitution, all of those things, and for defending the rights of Kenyans, we salute you, not just as the President, but the entire society led by our Council. Now, yesterday I came in and there was a conversation here that was going on. I found the Attorney General addressing this gathering, and she suggested that what leaders need more is prayer. I am not discounting the value of prayer, but if you are put in a position of advice, the most critical thing you need to do for your leadership is to give them the proper advice. These council members here are supposed to give good and proper advice to the President of the Law Society of Kenya. The Attorney General is supposed to give proper advice to the President. And the murmurs you are hearing in the hall is because many of us at the back there were shouting, you are preaching to the choir. The people who need that advice are not these lawyers. We know what the law is. We know what anticipatory bail means. The person you are supposed to be speaking is your boss, because he's the one who doesn't know what anticipatory bail means. So, I hope she understands. She understands the concern that we have as a people, as lawyers, with everything that has been done by this administration to claw back on the freedoms and gains of the people. She spoke about anticipatory bail. She even tried to suggest, I don't know which era her mind slips to, that there were some, offenses that were not bailable. That is something we left back many years ago. And I hope she would also address herself to this thing of Kamata Fridays and pre-trial detention applications by the Office of the Director of Public Prosecution here, which is being used by the Director of Public Prosecution. My understanding of your role, I think it is Article 157, that in the execution of your duties under the Constitution, you must have regard to two things: the public interest in the administration of justice and the need to prevent and or avoid abuse of the legal process. Now, when you sit in office approving these charge sheets that are being manufactured in the police stations, do you ever lend your mind to your responsibility to us as the people who are being charged with some of these offenses that the Honorable Kalonzo has spoken about? The Office of the Director of Public Prosecutions, and I will say this without blinking, is a weak link in the fight against arms of power in this country. You have a responsibility when you are approving that charge sheet to remember that it is you to prevent abuse of power and process in this country. So we are here to call you out as well and tell you we are not very happy. The Chief Justice of this Republic gave us a history, gave us a history of these rights. You know, people always forget that everything that has been put in the Constitution is drawn out of the experience of Kenyans with previous regimes. There is an experience to it. In fact, I always refer people to the CARC report. You will understand them why. Why are these things framed in the manner that they are framed in the current Constitution? So, I always go back. If you want to understand the frame of mind of Kenyans, why they say the DPP needs to also prevent abuse of process. Because there was a prosecutor called Bernard Chunga. Everybody remembers Bernard Chunga. Maybe the other ones may not remember. Yeah. So, there is a historical context to some of these things. And the CJ took us through that history. And she spoke about corruption as well. And she asked, who is this that is bringing corruption to the judiciary? We in Parliament have also been accused that we are rent seekers, that we go to ask people for money. I want the president to tell this country, who are these people who go and ask his cabinet secretaries for money? They are his cabinet secretaries. Who are these people that ask governors for money? Let them tell us. Let them tell us. To make blanket accusations, and I want to say this. You see, personally like Sifuna, I had taken a public position on Gachagua way prior to the impeachment. Are you telling me you pay me to do something I already wanted to do? Had I not gone on record objecting to some of the things that were coming from the pulpit of the deputy president? I had said it. Was I going to demand that you pay me to impeach Gachagua? So, Honorable Kalonzo, some of these things that people say, they are besmirching the entire house. If somebody has come to ask you for money, say Sifuna asked you for money. There's a cabinet secretary who claims when they come to the Senate that somehow we ask them for money to be nice to them. I am a member of the Public Accounts Committee. Our proceedings are live. Those of you who have watched those proceedings, do you see a nice Sifuna? Is that what they pay me to do? Anyway, it's a difficult conversation, but we need to all agree that some of the people who are pointing fingers are the worst possible auctioneers in this country. In fact, their names are synonymous with corruption. If you ask a small child in this country what they know about that person, they tell you that is a thief. And then they are the ones standing and telling us, oh, Parliament is corrupt. All of those committees in Parliament, except two, all of those committees in Parliament are headed by members of his party, the President's party. All of them. Agriculture, lands, whatever it is. So, he should have a PG with his team first of all, before he calls all the members to go for PGs, join PGs. You know, you will allow me to just speak because when Faith asked me to come to this conference, I asked her what would be my expectation as a guest here. I can see other people came prepared with speeches. The president told me, Sifuna, just speak from your heart. And I asked her, are you sure? Are you sure that you want me to speak from the heart? But she has allowed me to do that. I just want to make some concluding remarks about some of the things that have been said today. First of all, Dr. Okello, I admire his courage. And I can assure you, Dr. Okello, that you will see a few Subarus. Because these are people who have very thin skin. Very thin skin. These are not guys who you will see. Dr. Okello works in the legal office in the Senate. You will see a disciplinary letter next week. Because the people we work around, they have such thin skin, they cannot take criticism. But today, I want to applaud his courage because he has spoken about a broken system and the broken promises. When we look at the, you see, for me, the solution is very simple. Kenyans must go back to ask themselves, what sort of government did we want? What sort of government did we want? And I've made it clear that all these people who talk about shiny things, railways from here to Malaba, how many markets we are constructing, those are not the people we are looking for. The aspirations of Kenyans as far as government is concerned will be found in the preamble of the Constitution. It talks about an aspiration by all Kenyans for a government based on the essential values of human rights, equality, freedom, democracy, social justice, and rule of law. So all of these people who are claiming they want form government in 2027, if you do not fit that mold of those 6 essential values, please, we are not what we are looking for. Are we together? Yes. There is already a manifesto. There is already a blueprint for the government we want to establish. No roads, no markets, freedom, respect for humanity, for human rights, respect for democracy, social justice, and rule of law. Honorable Kalonzo, I am a believer in separation of powers. I have refused to go to the seat of the executive, and this is one of the criticisms I hope the CJ will share. One of my criticisms of her is that sometimes she forgets that she is a head of an institution, and you must protect the image of that institution. Don't allow yourself, even perception, don't allow the perception that you are subservient to the head of state. Don't go to his house. That's what I'm saying. Don't go to his house. If you have to meet as a head of government, choose a place where that physical separation, Honorable Kalonzo, between the two arms of government can be maintained. And that is the reason why Sifuna does not go to State House. And by the way, constitutionally, I am the supervisor of the executive. They come to me. I don't go to them. I am a believer in the rule of law, and I will tell you a story. Recently, there was a governor who was brought before the Senate for impeachment. If you look at those impeachment charges, all of them originated from the County Public Accounts Committee where I sit. All of them, including the hiring of more than 60 advisors and so on and so forth. They originated from a session of the County Public Accounts Committee. I was in that session. So, I believe in those charges. But there is a High Court sitting somewhere in, I think it was there, that has said all the proceedings in the county assembly are null and void. It's not that I don't believe in the charges, but I am a lawyer. I am an advocate. I swore an oath. In fact, the judge in that case was so gracious as to say they were not going to stop the proceedings in the Senate. They are leaving it to us to exercise our minds on the space of constitutional institutions and the respect for the rule of law. What do you think Sifuna does? Yes, we say you can argue whether the order is flawed, and I saw some of my senior colleagues in the profession coming and telling us that there are actually orders that we can ignore. Can you believe it? Can you believe it? So, despite my feelings about the charges and the guy generally, I have a responsibility because some of us take oaths very seriously. We took an oath to defend this constitution. And I agree with those of you who are saying we need to go back and reclaim our country. Now, let me conclude. First of all, Justice Lenaola, I think, has painted the true picture of this country, who we are. I have had some political leaders claim that, we are in Africa, and that in Africa it is very difficult to remove a sitting president who is looking for his second term. He forgets there are people like Lenaola who made history by annulling a presidential election. Kenya is not like the rest of Africa. We are not the rest of Africa where these things happen. You understand? So, don't tell us about Uganda. Sure. Are we Uganda? Are you saying that's what with all due respect to my friends from Uganda? We are not Uganda. So, Justice Lenaola and your team, for that courage to demonstrate that Kenya can be different. Kenya can be different. We don't have to be like the other African countries. We want to remind these people that on the day that Kenyans speak, all this bravado you see, the Senior Counsel of William Mugai, the good thing with me, I have the benefit of being in the exact same position that the people are in power, who are in power now, are in. We were the ones making all those statements of bravado, gifted, and putting up brave faces saying, oh, tutakuja tufagie ngosho moja, wacha azunguke, sisi tukiingia mambo itakuwa tofauti. They are in the exact same position. We have been there saying, oh, this is tuko na deep state. What the experience of everybody who taught me is that you, as the voters, are more powerful than these people actually imagine. You are more powerful. And never see that power. Never see that power. I have every confidence that when Kenyans express themselves, there is nobody who is going to be able to overturn the will of the people. Lastly, before we go, we're being told, Honorable Kalonzo, we must be brave, we must be bold. Saving a nation, this is like an existential fight for this very soul of this country. Saving a nation is not an easy task. We must be bold. The very people who ascended to power on the back of a slogan, they were running around just saying Hustler. Nobody ever understood what Hustler means. Those same people are saying we cannot do the very same and go on a slogan. One word. Say it yourself. Asante sana.